Welcome back to episode 19 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Kyle and myself again today. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Dodgers. Okay. Getting sky's not falling anymore. It's not exactly blue either, but it's a lot better than how it was a week ago.
Yeah, I
But
mean, yeah, that's I was watching that Dodgers Astros series. That was pretty good, man.
yeah, well, we'll touch on it right now because I got some thoughts on that. But I guess I know what I told you earlier, but we're gonna lead off with Dodgers Astros and the Ryan Stanek tantrum on Saturday night. That was interesting. Elly De La Cruz continues to shine, and he hit for the cycle Friday night against the Braves. Angels beat the Rockies 25-1 Saturday. Lot of stuff happened Saturday. Um, and then they made some trade moves too, including a player had to find out during the game, which that's always fun. MLB attendance is up. That's a good thing. We'll touch bases on that. And we got two guys already that are competing that have announced that they're competing in the home run derby. So that'll be interesting. And we are not touching on the London series. I'm sorry. Both teams won a game. Yay. It was kind of boring to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the no, I definitely agree, and it was very high scoring, which is exactly what I thought would happen. Um, and from two of the least run producers of baseball, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. That's your London review. That's it. Um See you next year, I guess. Uh Dodgers take 2 out of 3 from Houston in LA. 3 games were very entertaining. Mookie Betts had a leadoff home run in Friday and Sunday's game, and he would have had one on Saturday if the left fielder didn't make a great catch by the bullpen fence. Dodgers do what they're supposed to do. I would have liked them to sweep yesterday. The Dodgers did hang tough this weekend. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this whole series was going to be really good, and you gave me some flashbacks there when you talked about the bullpen fence. I kind of but but yeah, I mean it was a very entertaining series. Obviously Stanek's antics were kind of the cherry on top with that whole series. But yeah, no, I mean from the Dodgers perspective, they looked good. I liked what I saw out of them. And the Astros, they're kind of keeping themselves afloat there. I think it was important that the Astros stole that last game from Los Angeles just because of, the standings going on. Texas is there and they were neck and neck there with Los Angeles as well. So, for them to steal that last game was very important to them. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really good series.
Yeah, first of all, that was a balk, 1000%. I know there was a lot of Astro fans that were trying to, even some non non fans of those teams. A lot of people were trying to defend, well, that's not a balk. Yes, it is. Listen, if you get called out by the home plate umpire and the second base umpire, you're more than likely it's a balk.
Yeah.
But I guess everybody's more mad is because of the time of the I guess of the time in the game that it happened. It was a tie game. Um, Runner was on third. I want to say it was a full count, I think, or if not, it was 2-2 at the time, and then boom, that balk happens. The Dodgers have the lead, and then obviously everybody's gonna go to Twitter saying, "Oh, it's rigged." The umpires were clearly on the Dodgers side. It's like that was clearly a balk. But yeah, you mentioned a good point there at the end. The Astros had to take that last game, not because yeah they lost the first 2 games, but Astro fans don't want to admit this. They blew a 7-3 lead Saturday, and all they had to do was get 6 outs, and they
Yeah.
had like a couple of their best relievers coming into that game, and they were not able to hold it down. Dodgers chipped away in the seventh and eighth inning, and they eventually tied it and took the lead in the eighth inning. And then Sunday night baseball, Astros are up 4-1, and they almost choked it away again.
Yeah.
Will Smith with a I think it was a 2-out, 2-out, 2-run homer to dead center to tie the game. I saw it. Place was going nuts. At that point, I was like, well, okay, we're gonna win the game. It's just who's gonna do it, but didn't happen. Astros, that's what championship teams do. They figure out a way how to get one, stuff
Mhm.
like that, and like you said, stay afloat. But Dodgers do what they're supposed to do. Just continue to win these series, and it's not the prettiest right now, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Freddie Freeman,
Oh yeah.
2,000 career hits with the Dodgers, not with the Braves, with the Dodgers. But I saw a stat yesterday too, where some people were kind of mapping out when he can get 3,000. He can get his 3,000 hit if he stays healthy and continues to basically do what he does every year. He should have it in about 7 years, six
Mhm.
to 7 years. So I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer, and I really hope he can get to 3,000 hits, and I think he will, as long as he just stays healthy.
Yeah, yeah, no. I've always been a huge fan of Freddie Freeman when he was with Atlanta, and then obviously when he came to Los Angeles. I mean, and you think about it, it's not fully out of reach for him to grab that 3,000. He's got 4 more years left on this Dodger deal after this season, and not to mention this season's not even it's coming up on the halfway mark. So he's got 4.5 seasons with the Dodgers under contract to be able to rack up these hits and then get these obviously as he progresses and ages, his deals are going to look a little bit shorter, 1 2 2 year deals, but yeah, no, I definitely hope he gets it, and he has the potential to do it. I mean, everybody knows what Freddie Freeman's capable of, and he's all season long he's been putting the Dodgers on his back in a lot of ways. So yeah, no, I mean he's one of the best in the game right now, and for him to keep this up, it's going to be a very good sight to see.
Yeah, and the other thing that he's got going for him too, with a couple of the rule changes in the last couple of years. Number one, there's no shift anymore. Number
Yeah.
two, which I'd like to go see how many hits he was robbed of because of the shift, even though he likes to hit it the other way a ton. I know we're all lefties. Listen, we all like to pull the baseball. So, and then the other thing is that the DH is now in the National League.
Yeah.
No matter what, when he gets older, if he can't play first anymore or he's not playing it well, somebody's gonna lock him up for a DH. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
he'll
Very.
be okay.
Yeah.
Moving on, uh, Elly De La Cruz continues to take the baseball world by storm, and he hit for the cycle. And I'll mention this in there too as the top of the headline. Cincinnati Reds. If you put a good ball club on the field, if you put a good ball club on the field, and if they start winning some games and they start playing well, the fans will show up. And after an 11-game winning streak coming into Friday night, they had a huge crowd at Great American Small Park, as I like to say. Um, yeah, they had the Braves in town, but a good Reds team was coming back. So, and what did Elly De La Cruz do? Hit for the cycle. Guy's a
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah. I mean, this kid is a monster. I mean, it's such a like just seeing some of these young guys come up and make the impact that they are is such a cool sight for baseball. It's another exciting young kid for for MLB to not only market but get these kids back in. The kids who are into football, and obviously we're going to be talking about this a little bit later with the attendance. Kids who are into football more, basketball more, and all the other major sports, soccer, whatever it
Cricket.
is. And all these other sports, having a guy like Elly De La Cruz to kind of become that electric. But he reminds me of Tatis. He's gonna be marketable. He's gonna be gravitating towards these younger kids, and I think that's such a great thing for the sport. And not only that, you're getting top tier baseball. You're getting to watch these superstars who are taking the game by storm, and that's exactly what De La Cruz is doing. And I'm not taking anything away from him, but I also do want to mention they have another rookie who is absolutely tearing it up, and nobody is talking about him as much as they should. And I understand, De La Cruz has been sensational. I'm not taking a damn thing away from him because he deserves all the, spotlight he's getting. But Matt McLain is looking just as good. And I think for the Reds and how you mentioned putting a good ball club on the field, there are Reds fans. The Reds are a very historic franchise. So the fans are there. It's just, and it's the same thing. Like, it reminds me of the Athletics. You put a good ball club on the field, you're gonna get results, and it was shown. And that's exactly what the Reds are doing right now. And I think it's so great for the game for another historic franchise to finally turn the rebuild and get things going. It reminds me, just like the Orioles this season, they're filling up the stands. They're not a laughing stock anymore. They're
No.
ready to go. They're grabbing the league and they're taking it by storm. And that's exactly what the Reds are doing too.
Yeah, shout out to my old baseball coach, Dave Addis. He's a huge Reds fan when we were all Dodger fans. And when I was in high school, the Reds were absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
So, but he was still there watching every game. We were saying, what are the Reds going to do? Showing up to practice in his gray Pete Rose jersey that he had for a long time. He's a real Reds fan. I'm serious. He grew up watching the Big Red Machine. So those are his guys.
That's great.
But shout out to him. He's enjoying the hell out of this winning streak. And they're in first place. And secondly, and I never forget, this was not mentioned on the podcast, but I never forget when all three of us, Matt included, when we heard that Elly De La Cruz was getting called up, we checked the odds for Rookie of the Year. And without him having even played a game, he was already had I think the fourth best odds, if not the top three best odds to win Rookie of the Year. And we were kind of like, how? He hasn't even played a game yet. He just got called up. And now 2 weeks later, I mean, he still has not a long way to go, but he still has to continue playing like this. But he's making a very strong case very quickly that he should be the Rookie of the Year this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's completely taken it by storm. And for him to come up like this, and I remember you talking about the odds and everything. We were talking about it in the group chat. I remember it, and it was like, is this kid really this legit that they're gonna put him as the fourth best odds already? That's kind of crazy. And then the moment that he stepped on the field for Cincinnati, he is, he's been living up to that. And yeah, no, he's a very mature hitter. I mean, you can see it. He's a very mature ball player for his age, and now I completely understand why they put him at the odds that they did.
Made his debut against the Dodgers. I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm pretty sure his first home run he hit was like a 450 moonshot that almost left the stadium. But
wasn't that off Syndergaard too?
It was off Syndergaard. Now that you mention it, I was looking for the starting pitcher. I was like, it wasn't Gonsolin, it wasn't Kershaw. Yeah, I was like, yep,
yeah,
no Syndergaard. Oh well, I mean, if he turns out to be a great player and has a good career, at least I can say, hey, I saw his first game. He was against my team.
Yeah, and maybe a little trivia in there. Who was that? Who was that pitcher he hit it off
too?
Of?
I'll definitely know it.
Syndergaard's not going to be one of those first choices.
Definitely not. First of all, you got to get the team right, and then you got to remember who was pitching on that team. Yeah. But yeah, good for the Reds. They deserve it. I'm pretty sure the Braves still took 2 out of 3. I could be mistaken. If not, the Reds did.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Let me check. I know the Reds won Friday. Let me see. Yeah, the Braves took 2 out of 3 because they won yesterday and they won Saturday. Yeah, and shout out to the Braves, I guess. They were the first NL team to 50 wins. Yay.
Yeah, I
Usually
mean,
it's the Dodgers, but not this year. Okay, moving on. Continuing forward, let me get the list back up here. Let's kind of come back to Southern California, even though they were playing in Colorado. The Anaheim Angels kicked the shit out of the Rockies Saturday night, 25-1. And if the and listen, the Angel fan has had a rough week.
Mhm.
Dodgers come into Angel Stadium. They took both games, including a game when Shohei Ohtani pitched great and had like 12 strikeouts and pitched 7 innings, but their offense didn't score a single run. And then later that weekend, they put 25 up. They put 25 runs up on the Rockies, and they scored more runs than the Rockies this series, and they still lost the series 2 out of 3. If that isn't the most Angel thing ever, then I don't know what is. But I mean, 25 runs is impressive. I think they had like 20. I think they had like 18 or 20 after 4 innings that day. But
Yeah, yeah, no, that I was very interested in seeing the box score of that game. I think there was I could be completely wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Mickey Moniak was one of them. There was two players who had 5 hits that game. It was just it was it was ridiculous. It's kind of like Coors, that's kind of like
yeah,
the whole thing around it. And if the Rockies can just get some bats in there to take advantage of their home ballpark, I mean, we've seen it before. Larry Walker with all those home runs that he hit. But yeah, no, I'm very glad you brought up that whole Angels thing because if you didn't, I thought that was hilarious that they still lost that series after putting up a 25 spot in one game. That's kind of insane. But yeah, no, I mean, it's you know it was a very entertaining game for an Angels fan, but you still lost the series.
exactly.
It sucks.
I know. And if you go look, if you go look back at that box score, I think Otani had like the worst game, but he was still like
Yeah.
2 for 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
But everybody else was 4 for 5, 5 for 5 with like a bunch of home runs and a bunch of RBIs. And then Otani had an off night. And then Trout went 3 for 3, but then he got pulled. They took
Yeah.
him out because the score was so big already. But yeah, I mean that's the most Angel thing ever. Otani, if you stay with the Angels, I'll understand if the contract is like $600 million, but if it's anything less than that and you still stay, God bless you.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them, but we'll see. We don't know.
They also made some trade moves too.
Yes. Yeah.
Eduardo Escobar and Mike Moustakas, including Escobar, found out while he was on the field.
Mhm.
And of course, it was on Apple TV Plus, so I couldn't watch it, couldn't see the reaction. Apple charging me to watch that game. Um, Hopefully, these will help. As of
Yeah.
right now, the Angels are a game out of the wild card spot. And coming into the weekend, they had the last spot.
Yeah. Which thank you, Rockies, because my Yankees are underperforming like a bitch right now. It's not a fun time in the Bronx, let me tell you. But with these Angels, I mean, I'm pretty sure Escobar, he went 2 for 3 in his debut. It was either 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 with the Angels. Um, and I was watching that game when Escobar got traded, and I mean it sucks because obviously I'm very close to the New York teams. Um, and just listening in what Escobar meant to that franchise, he did a lot in the clubhouse. He was a very like veteran presence for these younger guys, and even Lindor too. Lindor went on a whole speech about how Escobar meant so much to the team and how much he's helped him. And Lindor is a seasoned vet in baseball. We all know who Lindor is. So, hopefully for the Angels' sake, bringing in a guy like Escobar, he can provide that same thing he did in Queens. Having him be that veteran guy along with Trout and all, and Ohtani and these younger guys, hopefully it helps for him, especially because like I feel like the Angels, if they want any chance of re-signing Ohtani, they need to make the playoffs this season. They need to show Ohtani, like, look, we can make it. We just, it's a slow grind and we'll get there, and that's exactly what the Angels need to do. And I feel like that's kind of like what these moves mean. Like they're trying to beef up whatever the hell they can to, kind of make a pitch to Ohtani, like, hey, we'll be able to do it, but you need to trust us kind of thing.
Yeah, and as much as I want Ohtani on my team next year, I respect it from the Angels' perspective.
Yeah.
They want to keep him. They want to try. Completely understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you fall flat on your face, that's another thing. But
yeah,
I'm
we'll
completely.
see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. You just mentioned. I mean, we were gonna mention it, but now you brought it to the table. Now we have to mention it. Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I saw what you said yesterday. Please hurry back. I quote, can't make any promises on a timeline for a return.
Yeah. For a non-Yankee, for a non-Yankee fan, obviously everybody knows what kind of talent Aaron Judge is, but unless you're a Yankee fan, you don't know what he truly means to this team. And for him not to be on the field, we are a below average team, at most average. Nobody is hitting, like at all. Judge was carrying the Yankees when he was here. And then obviously that Dodgers series came. That put a whole freaking train wreck into the Yankees' plans. And then once he went down, I think Harrison Bader right now is probably our top producer. Stanton looks terrible. Rizzo is slowly coming back from what he was. But no, there's like nobody producing. Anthony Volpe, if you look at his advanced stats, he's one of the worst hitters in baseball. I mean, he hasn't really, blossomed into the shortstop that we thought he would. It's and Donaldson. I mean, what's he gonna do? I mean, every Yankee fan and their mother thought he was getting DFA'd yesterday. So, with everything going on with this ball club, like unless you're a Yankee fan, you truly don't know what Aaron Judge means to this team because it's you watch this ball club right now and they look terrible. They look like they don't deserve anywhere close to a playoff spot the way they're playing. So to say for me to say please hurry back, that's like saying hey, yeah, I'll chop off my toe if that means that you can get back here in time. I don't need it as much as you do. Get your ass back on the field and take us to October. That's what we need out of you. So it's it sucks. And from what I was reading about, like he has turf toe. That's more of a football thing. Yep. Baseball players really don't get that. So for him to get that and, have a torn ligament in his toe now, like, I mean, and all the quotes too, they sound terrible. They sound like he's out for the season. So if Judge is truly out for the season, then guess what? We'll chalk this season in the right off. Just chalk it off and just, prepare for next season. Because I'll tell you one thing, no matter who we have or get in the deadline, and unless we bring in Ohtani or, a guy like Soto or something like that, guess what? We ain't going anywhere. So, yeah, that's my little spiel about that.
Little fiery. I like that.
I am, yeah, because
little fiery.
Damn, we need him back.
Yeah. Bad. I was listening to Mookie Betts' podcast on Bleacher Report, and I listened to the one he had with Judge.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, I just started listening to it. I'm gonna continue with it, but Judge played football, baseball, and basketball in high school. And he chose, and he actually says this in the podcast, he chose to play baseball so it's less wear and tear on his body. Yeah. And ironically, he has turf toe, which is probably one of the more common injuries in football.
Yep.
football bug never leaves you. But I mean, I think all baseball fans are the same.
Hmm.
We want to see Judge back.
Yeah.
Maybe not to see the Yankees win,
Yeah.
but just to see him go out there perform every night. I don't feel like that. I'm not like that.
Mhm.
I'm not that person. But
Yeah.
yeah, Judge hurry back. But and another thing too. Let me ask you this: since we were already into this, we might as well keep going. If he is out for the season, do you want them to just rip the Band-Aid off now, or do you still want them to wait like another 2 weeks and see if it gets any better?
I mean, it's tough because it's like it's no secret that the Yankees are injured, like very bad. They're constantly having injuries. They're four-headed monsters, some people like to call it, with, Rizzo, Stanton, Judge, and Bader. I don't think they played a single game together yet. So
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. This team is completely injured, and we have guys. Our two top producers right now is Jake Bauers and Billy McKinney. If you would have told me that back when spring training was happening, I would have said you are nuts, and I'm not believing a damn word you're saying, because that's ridiculous. When you have a team who's the second highest payroll in all of baseball, you mean to tell me Jake Bauers and Billy McKinney are your two top producers? Come on now. So I think that, you know, depending on, like, because the Yankees are very secretive with telling us these things. Boone said one thing. Now Judge comes out and tells us he has a torn ligament. So now it's a lot worse than what it was supposed to be. And we really don't know. So if he is truly out for the season, then I say you retool a little bit and then maybe reassess where this team's at, because we are getting the guys back. Carlos Rodon, he's set to make his Yankee debut July 5th against the Orioles. So he's going to be back very shortly. That's going to be a huge help. And Cole's doing his thing. Domingo's coming around. Clark Schmidt's looking good. So this team is finally starting to get healthier. But if Judge is out for the season, it's not going to mean a damn thing. So to answer your question, yeah, just pull the damn Band-Aid off now if he's out. If he's truly out for the season, then pull it off and just kind of retool and do whatever you can to shed salary, or I don't know. But if there is a chance he gets back, then you need to go all in at the deadline. And you need to, reassess what this team needs, get it at the deadline, wait for Judge, just stay afloat until Judge comes back. Because the Yankees' schedule for the next 2 weeks is very, very easy. So you just stay afloat where you're at in that wild card spot. Don't let the Angels jump you, and just go. That's the way I look at it.
Top three teams. Wow, I completely butchered that. The top three teams with the highest payroll right now: Mets, Yankees, Padres. 2 out of the 3 are currently not in a playoff spot, and the one team that is barely hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. It's definitely crazy. I mean, and then you go further down that list. I mean, you got the teams that, like the Dodgers, you got the Phillies. I believe that is your top 5, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, and then you got the Astros too. I mean, I know they're not top 5 on the payroll,
10.
but yeah. So these teams that were supposed to be some of
World
the game,
beaters.
yeah, are not performing the way they should. And the teams that, the Rays, they have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. The Reds, teams like that. It is a very weird season. That's the way I'm going to say it, because I didn't expect any of this. I expected the Yankees to be 1 or 2 in the AL East, the Mets to be 1 in the NL East with the Phillies behind them. And then I expected the Dodgers to run away with that NL West. And then the Padres being right there with them. So yeah, it's kind of crazy the way this season has turned out so far.
Which brings me into my next topic. Moving on. The MLB attendance is up. MLB Communications sent out a tweet earlier today. We'll pull it up right now. Over 1.5 million fans attended MLB games this weekend for the 3rd consecutive weekend, leading to their first back-to-back weekends of at least 35,000 fans per game since 2015. That's very impressive. There's two reasons why, to me at least, there's two reasons why the attendance is up this year. Number one, because of the rule changes. Pitch
Mhm.
clock, you're not staying at a ballpark for 4.5 hours anymore. You're gonna get out of there in a clean 2:45. Occasionally, you'll have the teams will make a bunch of pitching changes, and it'll be 3 hours. But
Mhm.
pitch clock has they've done a good job of keeping all these games under 3 hours. Number two, there's so much more competitive teams this year. Usually by now in years past, we have about maybe 10 teams or like 8 teams. 6 of them are running away with the division. And we already and 2 teams on both leagues have basically the wild cards locked up. And
Yeah.
then the other 20 teams are just bad. They're not good.
Mhm.
But there's more competitive teams this year. I'm very proud and I'm very happy for Major League Baseball because they deserve it. It was going the other way, the other direction a couple years ago, but it's good to see baseball. A lot of people are going to games.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with those 2 points that you had there. That's what I would have said too. These rule changes are creating more offense. Um, and obviously, like you said, it's shutting off time of the games. And personally, I'm still caught in the middle, and I feel like it's going to take a full season for me to really determine if I like these rules or not. But no, I mean the facts are the facts. It's there. Obviously, MLB attendance is growing, and that's pretty much all I want. If it's working, then keep it. That's the way I look at it. And seeing this season grow and having more attendance is just it's just one more step closer to exactly where we want baseball. And how you said about the competitive teams, I mean, it's true. I mean, you look at some of these teams who are in the league right now and are making noise versus the teams that we thought would make noise, but they're not. So, having this balance of competitiveness is a very nice sight, and I'm enjoying it. Just because my Yankees aren't exactly where I want them right now doesn't mean I'm not enjoying the rest of these teams who are finally starting to turn the curve. I'm a big Orioles, supporter. I'll go there.
Supporter, okay.
Yeah, I hate that they're in my division, but I love that their rebuild's working. And that's what I like to see. I hate that they're in the AL East because now I'm gonna have to deal with them for years to come. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see them finally turn that curve. The Diamondbacks are doing good. Something I would have never pictured. The Reds we talked about already, but they're up there too. Having these teams finally, and the Marlins,
Right.
I thought of them. Having these teams finally starting to, kind of shake up these divisions a little. It's nice to see. It's cool.
Yeah. You just said it perfectly. Even the teams that are bad this year, they have loyal fans that are always going to show up.
Yeah.
Cubs and Cardinals are the perfect example. They both play in beautiful ballparks. They have extremely loyal fans that no matter how bad the team is or how bad their record is, they're still going to show up. It's the same thing with the Yankees too, and
Yeah.
the Dodgers. No matter how bad the team is or what their record shows, they're still going to show up.
Yep.
But yeah, it's good to see. I know. Listen, we had something called like a couple Fridays ago where people thought maybe the attendance was going to go the other way. Not the case. Not the case. It stayed the same. I'm sure people got turned off by it. I'm sure some people stopped watching, which I get it. It's up to you. It's
Yeah.
not up. It's up to you. But overall, baseball, dare I say, got it right this year, kinda.
Yeah, for the first for the first year in quite a long time.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm with you. I still wish we didn't have a pitch clock,
Yeah.
but I get why it's there, and I like it. I didn't like it at first, but it's growing on me. Bigger bases, listen, you can't even notice, to be honest with you, when you're
Yeah.
watching a game or when you're there.
Hmm.
Unless you're like literally standing right in front of it, you can't even tell.
Yep.
Um, which is creating more stolen bases. That's good.
Yeah.
What's the other? No shift. Haven't even noticed that either.
Not really, because I mean, at least as a Yankee fan, I was told Anthony Rizzo was going to be hitting machine, and he was, before that little incident that he had with Tatis. But I mean, they're finding a way around it. They're setting up
Right.
guys right on that line. Like you step one, a couple inches to the left, you're getting a violation. So I mean, I haven't really noticed it either.
Yeah. So, um, seems like baseball's got it right. Um, couldn't happen at a better time either. Because this is perfect where, there's no football, there's no basketball, there's no hockey right now. So baseball is the lone sport, and you're not battling with the Olympics or anything else. There's no World Cup this year, nothing else. So it's just baseball pretty much stands alone this summer, which is
Yeah.
good. And they're it's paying off.
Hmm.
And I hope it continues. And listen, if we get some of those teams that have been bad for a couple years in the postseason,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what those cities are going to be like. If the Cincinnati Reds are in a playoff series, if the Baltimore Orioles find themselves in a playoff series, if the Angels do too,
Hmm.
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, for
Still
sure.
got a long way to go. Uh, Last one, and then we'll call it a day and get out of here. This is always fun for me. Um, I love All Star Week. I think I'm like one of the few people who still care about the All Star game.
Hmm.
I care about the players who participate in it. I care about the players who don't participate in it when they get voted in. I take that very personally. Um, I care about who's in the home run derby. I care about everything. And we have our first two contestants in the home run derby. Julio Rodriguez, which that was a no-brainer after the performance he had at Dodger Stadium. I was there. I saw it firsthand. Incredible. A lot of people were like, who's this Julio Rodriguez kid?
Hmm.
Everybody got to know who he was. Now, this one really bothered me, and I'm going to explain to you why right now. Mookie Betts is doing the home run derby. Before you get excited and start cheering, he had an opportunity to represent the hometown team last year at Dodger Stadium with me in attendance, by the way, in the left field pavilion. He had an opportunity to be in the home run derby last year for the home team. Even one of the Dodger reporters came up to him for a month saying, can you please do it at Dodger Stadium? And he said no. And what does he do? The very next year, it's in Seattle. You know what? I'm going to do the home run derby this year. I love Mookie, but that was like a middle finger towards Melo. That's what it felt like. How can I stick it to Melo and the Dodger fans? I know what I'll do. I'll be in the home run derby the year after my city just had it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought that was kind of funny too. Just from when he announced it from an outsider's perspective. Um, but obviously I don't take it that personally, just because it's yeah. I mean, I would understand if I was Aaron Judge, in Yankee Stadium, and then you don't do it, and then you do it the next year. But yeah, no. So obviously Julio Rodriguez, everybody expected him to do it. Mookie kind of surprised me a little bit. I did not expect Mookie to do it. I'm happy about it. I love Mookie Betts. I used to absolutely hate him.
It's a lot easier now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is now. I was so happy when Boston traded him. But anyway, um, having him in the home run derby, it's yet again, it's the whole growing the game aspect. And I'm with you on the whole All-Star weekend too, or All-Star week or whatever. I love All-Star week. And having a guy like Mookie participate in something that at least I didn't expect him to participate in, I'm gonna watch it now because I didn't expect it. So now I want to see what Mookie can do in the home run derby. So, you know, um, no, I'm excited for it, and I'm also excited to see who else participates. Um, Obviously, if Pete Alonso gets in, I'm fully expecting him to do it. Um, I mean, I yet again, I want to see Aaron Judge do it. It's been a while,
He hasn't
and
done it in his rookie year, I don't think, right?
yeah, yeah, he won in 2017, and then ever since then he just hasn't done it. I think I remember he said that, if it was at Yankee Stadium, if the All-Star game was at Yankee Stadium, he would think about doing it. But
I mean,
yeah.
he win because left field is what, like 300 feet,
Uh
250,
I don't know
200.
exactly what it is, but we have a short porch in right field, um, which he never takes advantage of anyway. So, but yeah, no. So I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see who else goes on.
Dude, who would you like to see in it if you personally had to choose, other than Judge? Because that's easy.
Yeah.
I want to see Trout do it.
I would like to see Trout. I feel like it's been too long for him. Um,
Has he ever done it? I could be mistaken.
I really don't know. It's been a very long time. Um,
No more
I'm
Acuna, please. I don't need to
yeah.
see Acuna again. No, please.
Um, no, that's a good question. I'm very I didn't think about that too much. I'd like to see Jordan maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like I'd like to see him. I feel like that'd be very entertaining. Um,
He'd
you
be
know,
the most hated man in that building.
most likely. And I've always wanted to see Freeman do it again, but yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Nothing crazy. Um, yeah, Jesus, I really don't know.
If my old friend Gary Sanchez didn't fall off a cliff, I would have said him. But
Tatis, I like to see Tatis do it. I guess I don't know.
yeah,
See his hair flying all over the place. Um, yeah, that's about it. Soto, we've seen it. I mean, he won it last year, so
yeah,
maybe he'll do it again just to repeat. I don't know. We'll
maybe.
see. But yeah, All Star Week, it's coming up in a couple weeks. We're almost there. We're almost to the halfway point of the season, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
It's kind
very
of
crazy.
crazy already. If you haven't voted, you should probably do that. Vote Dodgers. Screw the other teams. Get Will Smith to his first All Star game. But any closing thoughts, Kyle?
No, I don't think so.
I think you've
Uh,
said everything. I think
yeah,
you've said a lot.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I'll reiterate it one more time. Judge, get your ass back in the Bronx. We need you. That's about it.
Dodgers got an easy schedule this week. Take advantage of it. They got 4 games against Colorado. It's at Coors, and the Dodgers historically don't play well in Colorado. So knowing the Dodgers, they'll lose 3 out of 4, and the sky will be falling again. But then they finish the weekend in Kansas City. So hopefully they'll get some wins there. Then they come home next week. But take advantage of the week schedule you have this week. Other than that, that's it. I think that's going to do it for us. 19 in the books. We'll see you next time. Adios.
Later.